Hello and welcome to Thursday Thoughts. Thursday Thoughts? What on earth are they, I hear you ask? Well, my friend Lucy and I meet every week over on Instagram to talk all things personal growth because she is as obsessed with it as I am. And we decided that we might as well put those conversations out as a weekly podcast. So now you can listen to us chat here on Apple Podcasts or Spotify or wherever you listen to your podcasts. And we'll be talking about topics such as spirituality, limiting beliefs, the ego, imposter syndrome, gratitude, meditation, confidence, and so much more. So if you're ready, here we go.
So we are talking today about embracing aging. And I know that we've talked about aging before on this, but I think it's a subject that needs to be talked about more, quite frankly, because we are so used to hearing that, you know, once you're past 40 or 50 or whatever the hell it is, that, you know, your life is kind of over. You know, you can't do anything new, you can't start anything, it's basically all downhill from there. And I think this is a narrative that really needs to be changed because it's a load of bollocks. And I'm like heading for 50, I'm very nearly 49. You are 51, so we're basically the same age, around
50,
that time.
51 next week.
Next week. I don't know where that year went. The point is that it's insane that we allow these narratives from, you know, the culture that we live in. We just have to learn to not let them get to us and to start embracing getting older, because the alternative is that we're dead if we're not getting older. And I just think it's really important to talk about this more because I know that you and I both feel like we're just kind of getting started. And when people say, oh my God, I'm 30 and therefore I can't change career, or I'm 30 and therefore I'm, you know, but I'm not married and I don't have kids and therefore my life is over and all this stuff, it's insane. It's just completely insane. And we need to just totally reframe it and start seeing aging as something that is a privilege. And we're lucky if we get to do it. And, you know, you've only got to look around at sort of celebrities who are 50s, 60s, 70s, these amazing kind of role models who are really talking about aging and showing and proving that, you know, life gets to be good beyond 40, 50, 60. And, you know, we're not a write-off. And of course, this does depend on us taking care of ourselves. We can talk about that as well, what we can do in terms of our health and wellness as we get older. You and I have talked before about like menopause and about, you know, strength training and, you know, what we should be eating and all of these kinds of things. So we can touch on those as well. But that's basically what we're talking about.
Yes.
So, yeah.
Yes. And I think it's just really unfair on us women because men seem to be able to get away with it. You know, they seem to get better with age, and women have just been given such a bloody bad rap with this. And for some reason, aging means that, you know, you got to fade back into nowhere and you're not important, and beauty is completely revered because you're young, and it's just all such a load of complete and utter bollocks. And yeah, it's so good that these conversations are beginning to happen, and particularly celebrities speaking out about this, because it's just it does you no good. It's bad for your self-esteem, it's bad for your health. There's been studies which have shown that actually if you think of aging as a positive thing, pro-aging, you are going to increase your lifespan by 7.5 years, apparently, just by having a positive mindset about it. But also you're going to lower your risk of things like, what was it? There's blood pressure, inflammatory markers, depression, all these things which are linked with these sort of negative connotations with aging. So there has been research on this, and it is a thing that the more positive we can be about aging, the better. And yes, you're right. It does go hand in hand with looking after ourselves and taking good care of ourselves. And I think that's what we've got to champion. It's not about staying younger for older. It's about staying healthy and strong and vibrant. That's what it's about, so that we can live a really full life for as long as possible. There's no point living till you're 100 and actually not have any quality of life. You want to live a really quality life. Who
Yeah.
cares, that we're getting older in terms of our looks, because we're all getting older. That's natural, it's normal, and we have to embrace that. And I know it's so difficult because we're bombarded with all these images all the time, and every single bloody photograph we ever look at is airbrushed, and people have this flawless skin, but we've got to somehow get our minds over that and just really embrace getting older. And I'm convinced, I'm 51, you're nearly 50. And I just think if you look after yourself, then you're going to be more likely to feel better. And I think this is the problem. We can all look in the mirror, we can all start to see a million wrinkles, we can all start to try and pick ourselves apart. But the more that we can just nourish ourselves, fuel ourselves with good, nourishing food, exercise is absolutely key to this. I am convinced of it. The
Yeah.
more that you can
Yeah.
keep strong, the better it makes you feel. And I think a lot of this is about how we feel. You don't want to look in the mirror and find every single wrinkle, because we can all do that and
Yeah.
feel shit about ourselves. But if we feel strong, if we moving our bodies, it just changes the way you feel about yourself.
Totally.
Without a doubt. For me, that is like one
Yeah.
of the biggest things we can all be doing.
Totally. We've basically got to stop listening to the noise, because we do have a choice. Like with anything, it's how we choose to frame it. And if we want to allow all of the messaging and all of the kind of negative talk around aging, if we want to allow that to affect us, then it will. So we have to make a choice to go, I'm sorry, I'm not listening to this nonsense, because it is nonsense. Because after all, essentially, what we're talking about here is the number of years that we have been on the planet. It's nuts when you actually think about it. It is completely nuts. I think I've mentioned this before, but I used to work with this girl when I was working in the coffee shop, and she was is about maybe 2 or 3 years. Oh God, sorry, my cat just appeared on my lap. As you can see. She's about 2 or 3 years younger than me, and when we were working together, she's got 4 kids. Not, I don't know why I'm saying that, because it's completely irrelevant. But anyway, she would basically do things like, we'd be there at work, and she would sort of bend over and be like, "Oh God, all my knee or all my back," and then she'd be like, I remember she literally said one time, "Oh well, you know what? I'm over 40 now, so it's all downhill from here." And I just thought, this is just what is going on here? Like, why are we saying these words? Like, what? And it used to really annoy me when she said that, because I'd be like, I'm sorry, but I'm 3 years older than you, and I do not feel like that at all. And so again, we've got, we've really got to learn to not listen to the noise. We've got to follow people who are championing age. And there are so many amazing women out there who are showing how you can, for example, Kate Winslet. I've heard her, she keeps
Love
popping
her.
up on my Instagram. I love her. She's so awesome, the way she talks about age. Just so awesome. Women like her, I always talk about Heidi Clements, who I've had on my podcast. She's amazing. She's 63 or 64, and she's really pro age, and she talks a lot about this on her. Anyone who's not following her, I highly recommend following Heidi Clements. But yeah, it truly is the way that we choose to see it. And like you say, I think a lot of it is down to, we have to take responsibility for aging as best we possibly can. And the thing is that, yes, we could all go, oh God, yes, I'm sort of, my bones are a bit achy and I feel a bit creaky and all the rest of it. And of course, all those things are going to happen with age. But quite a lot of it, in fact, a lot of it, and I wouldn't want to say a percentage because I don't know enough, but a lot of this is actually environmental. And what are we putting in our bodies? What are we eating? You've just talked about movement, which is so critical. What's really interesting is when you just walk around the world and you see the difference between people in their, say, 70s and 80s. you can see the difference between those who have kind of given in to this idea of, oh, well, I'm now in my 70s and 80s and therefore I can't do this and I can't do that. And you can see the difference between them and the people of the same age who are like going on big hikes. Like I was doing a coast walk recently and I walked past quite a few much older couples who I would say were at least in their 70s, who were out there hiking on the Dorset coast path. And yeah, maybe they were going a little bit slower than me, but they were out there moving their bodies.
Yeah.
So it really, it's down to choice. I think so much of this is down to choice, because we do have a certain amount of agency over how we age and whether we age well or not. Like you say, movement is so important. So is, strength training for us women. So is what we eat. And but so much of this is about attitude, isn't it? It really, the words that you are saying out loud or the words that you are saying internally to yourself are affecting how well you age.
Yeah.
I truly believe that we have to be really careful how we talk about it. It's so funny. It's like those kind of automatic jokes that people make when you start getting older. We've got to be really careful about things like that.
Well, it's everywhere. It's everywhere, because I notice it all the time. I tell Giles off all the time and he's the most fit and healthy person I know, but he will make comments about, oh yes, it's just, getting older. And I was like, stop that. Stop. I know it is about getting older, that you maybe are going to have more niggles because you've lived a life, but stop telling yourself that it's because of older. Actually, you are as old as you feel. And, you don't need to say it. It's just those words will resonate within your body. You don't need to say it. Actually, let's celebrate the fact that all the things you can do and all the amazing things your body can do. And Kate Winslet, I had a brilliant interview with her the other day, and she was saying that, how could I possibly do my job well if I had Botox and couldn't use those lines on my head to tell a story, because that's what shapes your expressions, and that's what we want to see in a character, is all of the expression of life and what's happened. And if you don't have that, then you can't tell it. And I think we've just got to embrace those. We've got to embrace it more. And I think the problem is our view of beauty, the majority of us, is, because we've been fed it for so long by media, is one of like flawless skin and, looking a certain way. So we have to consciously make a decision to go, I'm going to choose to embrace the wrinkles, embrace the flaw, the older skin, as hard as that is, because you're going totally against the tide of everything which we've been fed. And it is hard. It is hard. And because we all know that when we feel like we look good, it makes us feel good. So it's about trying to feel good, and that's going to help you look good.
100%.
So it's almost it's like changing it around. So really looking at yourself and really embracing every single year that your body shows. For me as well, like my belly, I used to have a flat belly for the majority of my life. It was always something which I would have out, it was like, and then I had 3 kids, all massive babies. And now my belly's never, ever, ever, ever going to be the same. And it took me a long time to accept that it's kind of, the skin is really stretched and it's not, it's not like what it used to be. But I wouldn't have that if I hadn't have had my 3 babies. But I had them, and I've got to embrace that. And it's about just embracing all these parts of you, flaws and all, and just going, that tells the story of my life. And we don't do that enough. We've got to start doing that more. And it's kind of like your body is like your storybook, isn't it, of life. A very quick break to ask you to hit the follow or subscribe button if you haven't already. And if you're enjoying this episode, I'd be super grateful if you could hit those stars and rate it too. Thank you.
You were saying earlier about how, you know, men supposedly get better with age, and this is one of the stories that I think we've got to change, but we have to change it ourselves, because, you know, it's not going anywhere. In terms of society, you know, the culture that we live in, but we need to change this story ourselves, because I truly believe that in exactly the same way that men get better with age, women also get better with age. Because this is what people forget, and this is what people don't talk about. There are so many benefits that come with age. Like there is wisdom, there is, you know, experience, there is confidence. So this is the thing, like, honestly, I feel better at the age of nearly 49 than I have ever felt in my whole life. I feel way more confident. I feel much wiser. I know more. I've had more life experiences, because, and that's the thing about aging, is that you can, there, you know, only by aging can we gain the benefits of aging. It is the only way that we can find out more about ourselves. It's the only way that we can get more experience about life. It's the only way that we can really, you know, gain wisdom, is by living for more and more and more and more years on the planet, and that means getting older. So I just think we've got to, and going back to sort of Kate Winslet and what she's been saying about women and how they get more beautiful, I love the fact that she says that, because one thing I say on my podcast, which, as you know, is about being single or not having kids, it's not about, when it comes to, you know, attraction or beauty or whatever, it's so much more about our energy than it is about what we actually look like. Yes, of course, we all know that, you know, that kind of classic image of beauty with a 25-year-old woman with amazing boobs and amazing skin and amazing hair and da da da. Yeah, of course, we can all appreciate that image of beauty. But at the end of the day, that does not last for anyone. And also, when it comes to attraction, it's about, so, you know, somebody can be really, really, really classically pretty and young and la 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 la, but that's only going to get them so far, because actually what gets you farther in life is who you are being, your energy, how, you know, how you make people feel, who you are as a person. It sounds so cliche, but it's so fucking true.
Yep.
You know,
Yep.
so we've got to remember that we, you know, women too can get sexier with age. And you've only got to look at the likes of, I don't know, Jennifer Aniston, for example, or Helen Mirren, who's still totally hot,
Yeah.
or you know, Kate Winslet.
Yeah.
Like, she's so natural looking, but she's still totally hot. She's gorgeous, because and that's the thing. It's down to self-confidence. So we, and only we, can build self-confidence within ourselves. Only we can increase our own self-confidence. No, it doesn't matter how many times somebody says, oh, but you're gorgeous, but you're this, but you're that. It doesn't matter. It has to come from you. And actually, in my experience, that comes with age. Self-confidence comes with age. And the older I get, the more confident I feel in myself. And that radiates out, actually. It doesn't matter what you bloody look like. It doesn't matter how many wrinkles you have. That radiates out through your face. And you can tell when somebody feels good about themselves. And it doesn't matter how old they are, or how many wrinkles or age spots or whatever. If somebody is feeling good about themselves, that shows on their face, no matter how old they are.
Yeah. It's how comfortable you feel in your own skin. And without a doubt, as you get older, it has been definitely the case for me. I have never felt more comfortable in my own skin. I think as you know, when you're in your teens, going into your 20s, you're just still trying to figure out who you are. I, for one, was always sort of shape shifting depending on the people who I was. It just takes time and experience to really understand yourself and feel that real sense of like, oh, yes, I really know who I am. I'm comfortable and I give less shit about what everyone else thinks. And I think that's one of the most brilliant things about getting older. You give less fucks ultimately about what everyone else thinks. And that gives you so much more freedom just to be yourself. And that is the biggest gift no one talks about, because it's something which I think can be like it's like carrying a big rock around your neck, this constant worry about what fitting in and what people might think. And yeah, I totally agree. In terms of your energy, that is what is important. That is what radiates. And so that's why it's important to do the inner work,
Yeah.
which we always talk about. It's about really feeling it, knowing yourself, feeling really truly in alignment. We've actually in my breathwork sessions this week, this month in my community, in a space, our theme has been all about alignment. So we've been doing a lot of work about really knowing and feeling like you and understanding who you are right down in the depths of your soul. You know, it's really, and feeling comfortable with that and accepting all parts of you, quirks and all, and embracing them because no one else has got those amazing quirks. Only you do. And with it doesn't matter what age you are, if you can embrace yourself, whatever age, you are just then going to be able to radiate that outwards, out into the world and shine brighter than ever before. And I really can't stress that enough, and I just love it. And when we do these breathwork sessions, you can just see everyone sitting up, the shoulders back, feeling super confident, really oozing all their energy. It's just
Yeah.
so wonderful to see. And yeah, so again, it's just like do the things that you enjoy, that light you up, that light up your soul, and you will be just radiating your beauty
Yeah.
outwards, no matter of how many wrinkles you've got, or you know, it really doesn't matter. And the other thing I was going to say is, you know, we all love compliments. You know, we love to be told, um, and I think when you think someone is looking gorgeous, and it doesn't necessarily mean you know, you look younger or something. I can't bear it if people say, "Oh, Lars, wow, I can't believe you're so and so age." It's more like give someone a compliment, which is about, "My gosh, I just love your energy." I mean, for me, the best compliment anyone can ever give me is, "I love your energy,"
Yeah.
or, or if you think something, you looking, "I love the way that you're wearing that," or whatever it is. Just say it. Never keep those thoughts to yourself. Always say them out loud. And if you receive one of those, rather than batting it off and going, "Oh, this old thing," or whatever, again, just receive it and go, "Thank you so much." Actually, I have to tell you, this really made me laugh. When was it? Friday night. I went for I popped into this, it's like a local pub around here, and they do a brilliant vinyl night the last Friday of every month. So it's just playing old, good, really good music, old vinyl records. So I literally was just passing through as I was on my way home. And I was sort of having a little move around. I was just really enjoying the music. I was moving around, and this guy, and I think he was slightly off his head, so that's probably
Oh.
clear. But he just came up to me and went, "You fucking beautiful."
Oh.
And I was like, "Oh, what, me?" And I was like,
Oh.
"Oh." And my first thing, I didn't, so I was like, "Oh, thank you very much."
Oh.
And so, and it felt so good to be able to receive that because normally I would have been like, "Oh my God." But and then he kind of potted off somewhere, and I don't know what he did, but it was just so sweet. I just thought, what a nice man to say
Yeah,
that.
and also it was obvious because you were there having a really good time,
Yeah,
and feeling good about yourself, and that is what he saw. I
yeah.
would
I,
imagine
I
that
think
is
so.
what
Yeah,
he saw.
I presume so because I mean, I wasn't drunk. I hadn't been drinking. I literally was popping in.
Yeah,
Met a couple of friends and was just really enjoying the music. So yeah, so it's
yeah,
interesting, isn't it?
yeah,
How that can really, it does really radiate. But I think it's so nice for somebody to get, even, you know, to go up to someone else and just say what you see, because I
yeah,
think again, everyone can do with a little bit of a, oh yeah, you know, shoulders
yeah.
back moment, feeling good about themselves.
Yeah, I think it's a really good idea to focus on your own vibrancy rather than on your physical appearance. I reckon it's way better putting the time in to focus on that side of things than actually, right, I'm going to go and get me some Botox, or I'm going to go and get me some whatever it is. Actually, because by doing that, by focusing on your own energy and your own feeling of vibrancy, that is going to make you look more beautiful than any amount of plastic surgery or Botox or fillers or anything could. And fucking hell, we only have to look at some pictures of people who have, done work to themselves, and it's A, you can tell, and B, like you were saying about expressions, like it's so weird when somebody cannot make expressions with their face. And like you were saying, right at the beginning of this conversation, it's all about, you know, we wear our lives on our faces. It shows what, you know, what we've been through. Our wrinkles show how many times we've laughed or cried or, you know, whatever it is. So I truly think that it's something that we have to own. And the more women, because we are talking about women here, let's face it, guys do not have the same issue around this. But as women, you know, we've got to kind of get together and hold each other up and stop reinforcing the narratives about trying to look younger, because it's just a load of bollocks. What we should be doing is encouraging each other to own who we are, and also realize that actually, you know, getting older is not the end. Getting older can be a whole new lease of life. Getting older can be, right, you know, this is my new phase now. What am I going to do with it? You know, apart from anything else, people are living much longer now. People are living into their sort of 80s, 90s. So if you think about it, hopefully we've got a lot of life left. And there's so much that we can do. But I really do think that it's up to us as women to stop perpetuating the stories. We are the ones who have got to, because actually I think it's probably, you'll find it's probably more women having these conversations than men, actually. So we're the ones that have got to start owning it, start talking about it more, and start embracing it.
Yeah.
And just realizing that getting older does not mean that you're past your sell by date. I mean, I'm as you know, I'm single, and you might think that at 48, nearly 49, I'm sort of thinking, oh shit, I've got to, you know, must get me a boyfriend before I'm like totally past it. I feel the absolute opposite. I literally, you know this, I feel the total opposite, because apart from anything else, giving up my single life would be a huge sacrifice. But the point is that as I get older, I don't feel a desperation to couple up. I just feel better and better and better. And therefore my standards get higher and higher and higher and higher. Whereas people might assume that a 48-year-old single woman would be thinking, oh, I better lower my standards a bit, you know. Better just grab any old bloke I can, because it's better than nobody. Do you know what I mean? I just think we can see age as the absolute opposite of how we have been seeing up until this point.
Yeah, and there are so many good role models. I'm just thinking of what's her name on Instagram? She's called something like Strength of Joan. She's in her 70s, and she is just unbelievable. She is so strong and encourages other people to get strong. And she only started strength training, I think, in her 50s or something. She's never done any before. And now she's unbelievable. You should look her up. I think she's something with Joan, or Strength with Joan. But it's just that was just such a good example for me of just, it's never too late. It's never too late to start looking after yourself. And if you're someone who's thinking, oh, well, God, look at me. This is, you know, it's, I've never been fit, or I've never really taken that much care of myself. It's never, ever, ever too late. You can start today. You can start now. And it does make a difference. I sometimes, you know, when I'm in the gym or I'm doing a class with others, and I think I kind of look around and look, sometimes there's quite a lot of younger people in there, and I'm so proud of myself. I'm like, look at me. I feel great. I can keep up. And it's such an empowering feeling and I think I will go on about exercise again, but I think it is one of the key things, because it does make you feel so empowered and strong, and it gives you that resilience to just keep aging well. And I just think that is something which is going to put you in the best possible chance of living a really vital life for as long as possible, as well as obviously what you put inside your body is key as well, in terms of eating well, protein, and oh my goodness, I just had a pigeon flying
Was
through
that
the window.
Pigeon that just whacked on? Bloody hell! Is it all right?
Or a seagull? Yeah, I think so.
Oh my god! Oh my god! Oh god!
Right, that's my front door, so that's a good time to wrap this up.
All right, love. Well, I'll speak to you later.
All right, then. Thanks a lot. Bye. 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 Bye.